we humans are very good in setting high standards, both for ourselves and also for others. And we're also very good in seeing mistakes in ourselves and others when these high standards are not fulfilled. But then how often do we look and recognize the good qualities that the mind has? Very rarely. How often do you sit and recognize, oh yeah, I'm a really virtuous person. Oh yeah, the mind is really generous. We take those things for granted unless you deliberately look out for it. Only then we recognize it. Whereas the mistakes we can recognize often so easily. So as a spiritual practice, the Buddha has some of those nussatis, recollections of virtue, of generosity, and others that encourage the mind also to see the good qualities it has. And then to delight in that, or even establish a sense of gladness and wholesome joy on account of that. So last time we practiced together recollection of virtue. Today I think we can move on and we practice recollection of generosity, jaga nussati. So it's a reflection, recollection, and let's see how that goes. For that purpose, let's get into our meditation posture. We're sitting upright and relaxed. I can check whether there's any tension in the body. And if yes, relax that part. For the purpose of this practice, we can keep the eyes closed, because the eyes cannot contribute anything when it comes to the recollection about one's own generosity. Speaking of generosity, try to remember, try to recall an instance where you gave something to somebody else that the other person was really in need of. It could be money, it could be an item, a gift, or maybe just lending out an item that you can borrow. And recognizing the difference that it made to this person to get this kind of support at a time when he or she really needed it. And also recognizing how did my own mind feel at the time when I was giving, supporting. Maybe there was a sense of sacrifice involved, of resources, of that item that was given, but also a sense of gladness on account of being able to support. think of another instance where you gave something to another person. This time, not something material, but the person really needed your help with something. You gave your time, your expertise, your knowledge or experience to help the person accomplish what he or she wanted to do. To give an example from my own life, when I came to SPS 7 years ago, I was very enthusiastic, trying to help, trying to support. But I was also very new. I didn't know how things are done. What are the established protocols, procedures? But there was one devotee who was particularly helpful in this regard. She gave a lot of time, experience, knowledge, understanding. It made it easy for a newcomer, such as myself, to pick up on things and learn. So recollect an instance where you may have been able to support another person in a similar manner. And happily rejoicing in the mind's ability to help, to support. The goodness of the mind. How wonderful. Next, try to find an example from your own life where maybe a family member or a close friend encountered some difficulties in his or her life. Emotional, psychological difficulty, either in relationship or mental difficulties like anxiety, depression. And you were able to give your time, to be a friend, to be there for the person. to give him or her the feeling, you're not alone. I'm here for you. I got your back. How wonderful must it be to have a friend like this? And how amazing that you have been able to do that. Sacrifice some of your own time. Maybe it was not easy even for you either. Yet you stood by her side. Particularly in challenging times, the most severe one is when a person approaches his own death. To accompany the person the last few hours, days, weeks. It's going to be very important to that person. Find an example in your own life and rejoice in the mind's ability to give the gift of care, attention, compassion. How wonderful that the mind is able to do this. I rejoice in the purity of the mind. That is able to give what is hard to give. Which may also entail some personal sacrifices. How wonderful that his mind is like this. Don't only stick to the stories and the memories, but emphasize mostly on the mind itself that has been performing all these actions. Material support, spiritual support, giving expertise, knowledge, sharing experiences. To rejoice in a mind that has these qualities. How amazing, how wonderful. a sense of joy can arise on account of that. Gladness that arises on account of seeing the purity of the mind in such situations. Having uplifted the mind in this way, the mind being bright and cheerful on account of its own generosity, kindness, goodness, it is ready to start the day with whatever may come. We are coming to an end of this meditation. Can open the eyes again and get back to normal. Did you find some examples in your own life? Yeah? Good. So it's a very easy way to uplift the mind, develop some joy. And then also by doing that from time to time, the mind is even more motivated in future. Whenever an opportunity arises, oh, I could help out there, because you already know in advance, oh, later I can use this as a fuel for my meditation to make the mind happy from inside. So you become even more eager to support others, to give a hand, to be of service. So it becomes like a loop, a self-perpetuating loop of goodness, of kindness, of wholesomeness. Okay, I offer that for your reflection.